There's a cry over the land. Can you hear it?
I was married 17 years to a career Navy man, and that ended in 1995, and I began my life of being homeless.
There's a sigh in the night that pierces the heart.
I was using drugs. I was becoming reclusive. I didn't have any real feeling about the future, or whether there was a future.
Somebody's child is hoping for a new day.
We began Grace Mission 9 years ago at Easter, and it was an immediate success. We opened the doors and people just came in and been coming in ever since.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
You know, things happen here just like any other church. We have church services. We have potluck dinners, except we cook the food. We have funerals, we have weddings, we have church school for the kids, we have Bible study, we have anything that you would find at any other church.
The worship here is really unique. We use the Episcopal liturgy because we're an Episcopal church, and so just like any other liturgical church you would go into, the liturgy's the same, and we go through all the same forms or whatever, but our congregation often responds a little differently than other congregations. If an acolyte does a particularly good job, the congregation will just applaud the acolyte. Or when we're reading the lessons or the gospel lesson, they respond to it just as if they were, you were talking to them, and they'll talk back during the gospel lesson, yes, 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 And at the end of the gospel lesson, if they are really touched by it, the whole congregation will just break out in spontaneous applause right at the gospel.
The people that come to Grace Mission are very diverse, actually, but they all have a common need, I would guess. They have been marginalized by society. Things happen in their lives. Sometimes it's divorce, sometimes it's a death. Many times they get hooked on alcohol or drugs of some sort, and their lives just take a spiral downward. And usually they lose their jobs, they lose their homes, they lose all their money, they lose their families.
May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
The most I ever paid for a drink in my life was the cost of my husband and my 3 children. I came home. I had been in and out of 30-day rehabs for my alcoholism. And on the last one, when I got out and drove home, he was sitting in the kitchen with an attorney and a sheriff. And they let me pack a few suitcases, and I was escorted out of the subdivision before I could say goodbye to my children, who were 8, 10, and 12 years old at the time. I was so angry, I was so full of hatred, and I had a terrible disease called alcoholism. And I sunk deeper and deeper and deeper into that. I used to sleep in abandoned buildings. I used to sleep underneath mobile homes when it was raining. The hiding from the police and their police dogs, in and out of jail. Everything revolved around the next drink. And I used to pray, Lord, please don't let me die in this confusion.